This is directions on how to complete your math center with cut and paste. So the first thing you need to check is, do you have a paper that looks like this? On my screen, yours should be in black and white, so it won't be in color, but it should look the same. You should have another paper that looks like this, that has all of the answers on it. And then you need an extra piece of paper that you're going to do your work on. Mine looks like this, but you do not have one that looks like this. Just use an extra piece of paper from your notebook to put your work down as. It is important, I'm going to say now, that you are doing the work for each of the problems. I understand that it's easy to figure out the puzzle and glue it on, but if you're not showing your work, then you will not get points for the assignment. Okay? All right. First thing you're going to do, we are not going to cut anything yet. And the reason why I say that is if you just go and start cutting all of these strips of paper, you most likely will lose one by the end of the week. Okay, so you're only going to cut it as you solve it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first one at the top. The first problem says, to make carpet squares for her preschool classroom, Mrs. Piper needs to cut 8 feet of carpet into strips with a length of 4/5 feet. How many strips can she cut? Okay, so on my extra piece of paper, remember yours does not look like mine. I'm going to have my 8 strips of paper, and we're cutting it into 4/5 pieces. Okay, now I'm going to ask myself, which is bigger? Is 8 whole things of paper bigger than 4/5 of a piece? And I know that 8 is going to be bigger, right? Because if I had 8 pieces, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's going to be bigger than something that's only 4/5 of one piece of paper, right? So 8 versus 4/5, the 8 is definitely bigger. So which means 8 is going to be the first fraction that I pick when I divide. Okay, you can do keep, change, flip, or you can do area model. As long as you do it correctly, it doesn't matter which one you do. Okay, so 8 divided by 4/5. I know that when I have a whole number like 8, to turn it into a fraction, I draw a 1 underneath it. Remember, all numbers invisibly have a 1 in the denominator. We just don't write it because that would be a lot of work to do all of the time. Okay, now I can just do keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep the first fraction, change the division operation to multiplication, and flip my last fraction to 5/4. Okay, now I just multiply across. 8 times 5 is 40. 1 times 4 is 4. Now I'm going to divide 40 divided by 4. Get some more space here. 4 goes into 40. I know 10 times. 10 times 4 is 40. I end up with a 0. Remember, when you end up with a 0 here, you don't need to make a fraction out of it. So my answer will just be 10. Okay, now that I have my answer, I'm going to go check to see if I did it right. So I'm going to go into this page. I'm going to look for 10, and I can see it right here, 40/4 or 10, right? Either one of those answers would be correct. So my job now is to go up here to cut out this problem that I just did and glue it on here. Okay? Remember, you don't cut all of them at once because then you're going to lose your pieces. So I know that this one is going to go here, so that's where I would put it. Okay, and then once I glue it on, then I can move to the next problem and try to solve it. Okay, if you have any questions, make sure you ask the people in your group before asking your teacher.